In this video, we cover this interesting topic of circular economies. As consumers, we take materials from the earth, we make products from them, and then eventually we throw them away as waste. This process is very linear if you think about it. We extract, we make, we consume, and then we dispose. Business, governments, and citizens around the world increasingly recognize the challenges caused by our take, make, dispose approach to production and consumption. There's a greater emphasis now, thankfully, to adopt the concept of circular economies, where the concept of waste is minimized. The effort is more on a conscious shift in the way we design these products so that we stop waste being produced in the first place. Broadly speaking, circular economies rely on three main principles. The first one is the concept of eliminating waste and pollution, which is a simple one. While it sounds simple, we have to become conscious about it, and we have to start incorporating this principle in our design thinking approach and process in our respective disciplines, whatever we practice. What this means is that the waste we produce today ends up in the landfills or is burnt in incinerators. This route is not sustainable. Waste and pollution can be eliminated through sharing, reusing, repairing, refurbishing, remanufacturing, or as a last resort, recycling. Food and other biological materials that are safe to return to nature can regenerate the land, making and replenishing the fertility of the soil and fueling the production of new food and materials. The second principle of the circular economy is to circulate products and materials at their highest value. This means keeping materials in use either as a product or when that can no longer be used as components or raw materials. This way, nothing becomes waste and the intrinsic value of products and the materials are retained for a longer period of time. The third principle of circular economy is to regenerate nature. By moving from this take, make, waste linear economy to a circular economy, we support natural processes and leave more room for nature to thrive. Instead of continuously degrading nature, we should be building and intensifying natural capital like the fertility of our soils. We can employ farming practices that allow nature to rebuild soils and increase the biodiversity and return the biological materials back to the earth. Come to think of it, in nature there's really no waste. When a leaf falls from a tree, it feeds the forest. It regenerates the forest. It sustains these forests. For billions of years, natural systems have regenerated themselves. Waste, unfortunately, is just a human-induced invention, and it's mostly a problem of developed nations. Now, according to the World Economic Forum, in 2019, over 92 billion tons of materials were extracted and processed. 92 billion tons. This has contributed to about half of the global carbon dioxide emissions. The resulting waste, including plastics, textiles, food, electronics, and more, is taking its toll on the environment and human health. The circular economy, which fundamentally promotes the elimination of waste and the continual safe use of natural resources, offers an alternative that can yield about almost $4.5 trillion in economic benefits to 2030. So achieving this transition requires unprecedented collaboration across all sectors, given that today only 8.6% approximately of the world is circular. The circular economy gives us the tools to tackle climate change and biodiversity loss together while addressing important social needs. It gives us the power to grow prosperity and jobs and resiliency while cutting greenhouse gas emissions, waste, and pollution. As a consumer, let us consciously start adopting these practices of circular economies in our lives. Most importantly, most everything we do actually in our daily lives could be a part of this effort. Just think of circular economies as a cradle to cradle approach. A cradle to cradle approach instead of a cradle to a grave approach. The grave in this case are our landfills and incinerators. So let us do our part to minimize waste, circulate products at the highest value, and regenerate nature. Those are the three principles. The best part of all this is water. Every product we consume as consumers requires water in the process of manufacturing. Imagine the amount of water we will save by engaging in the process of circular economies. Remember, there's only 1% of all fresh water on this planet to serve almost 10 billion people by the year 2050. That is a statistic every one of us should remember. Maybe not for us, but definitely for the generations we'll leave behind and our loved ones. Circular economies are an important variable to satisfy the one water for one world equation.